Learning to day trade doesn't take years. That's the first lie I need to destroy in this video. But before the internet loses its mind, let me be clear about something. I'm not saying trading is easy. I'm not saying you'll get rich overnight. I'm definitely not selling you a magic strategy. What I'm saying is that most people take 5 to 10 times longer to learn day trading than they actually need to. Not because they're dumb, not because trading is impossible, but because they're learning it with a completely broken belief system. And once you fix that, the speed at which everything clicks feels almost illegal. In this video, I'm going to show you how to learn day trading so fast it feels illegal by rewiring the psychology that actually controls your results. And no, this isn't another control your emotions talk. That advice is useless on its own. Every losing trader has heard, just be disciplined, just follow your rules, just remove emotion. If that worked, most traders would already be profitable. Discipline does not equal profits. The real problem is what your brain thinks trading is, because your beliefs decide how fast you'll learn, how much risk you'll take, whether you hesitate or execute, and whether you repeat the same mistake 100 times or fix it once and move on. Now, quick context, because I know how YouTube works. You're probably asking, why should I listen to this person? I trade, I've lost money, I've made money, I've revenge traded, I've over leveraged, I've broken rules I knew were stupid to break. And the biggest breakthroughs I ever had didn't come from better setups. They came from fixing the beliefs that were sabotaging how I learned. Your psychology is greater than your strategy. Once that clicked, progress stopped being random. It became predictable. Here's the core idea of this entire video. Trading is a skill, but learning it is a psychological process. And most traders try to solve a learning problem with more information, more indicators, more strategies, more Discord groups, more opinions. That doesn't speed you up. That slows you down. When people say something feels illegal, what they mean is, why did no one explain it this way sooner? This is what should be taught first. That's what this video is. The stuff you're supposed to learn before strategies. The belief shifts that collapse years of trial and error into months, sometimes weeks. We're going to cover things most trading content avoids, like why your brain needs losses to learn, and why fighting that keeps you stuck. Why most traders are addicted to being right instead of getting paid. How identity, not discipline, controls consistency. And why profitable traders think about trades completely differently than beginners. This isn't hype. It's uncomfortable. And it works. And fair warning, one of the beliefs I'm about to break will probably offend you a little bit, but if you stay to the end, you'll understand exactly why your progress has felt slow and what to do about starting it today. Let's start with the most dangerous belief in day trading. Why most traders learn so slowly and don't even realize it. The most dangerous belief in day trading is also the most common one. And it sounds harmless, and it sounds logical, and it sounds like progress. That belief is, I just need the right strategy. Most traders spend their early years bouncing from setup to setup, breakouts, pullbacks, supply and demand, ICT, smart money, options flow, indicators stacked on indicators, open range. And every time they switch, it feels productive. It feels like learning. It feels like progress. But psychologically, something very different is happening. Strategy hopping isn't about finding an edge. It's about avoiding responsibility. Because if the strategy doesn't work, it's not you, it's the system. Blame the system. That belief protects your ego, but it destroys your learning speed. Here's the truth most traders don't want to hear. You can't learn efficiently while protecting your identity. And early traders are obsessed with protecting identity. Think about it. Every loss feels personal. Every red day feels like proof you're not cut out for this. Every mistake feels like a character flaw. Traders starting at blam. So your brain does what it's designed to do. It avoids pain. The fastest learners in any skill aren't the smartest people. They're the ones willing to look stupid the longest. Fast learners tolerate being bad, but in trading, people do the opposite. They avoid situations that expose their weakness. They don't size small enough to experiment. They don't journal honestly. They don't review losses without defending them. They're not learning. They're performing competence. This is where trading psychology gets sneaky. Your brain would rather feel like a trader than do what actually turns you into one. Fancy setups, Twitter threads, Discord arguments, complex language, all of that feeds identity. None of it speeds up skill acquisition. Traders who learn fast don't ask, how can I win more? They ask, how can I get feedback faster? Feedback speed is greater than win rate. That one question alone separates years from months. Here's the part most people mess up. A losing trade is not a failure. It's information. But only if your beliefs allow you to see it that way. Most traders emotionally label losses as, I messed up, I'm bad at this doesn't work, work? What did I do wrong? Fast learners label losses as that entry was early, that stop was too tight, that rule needs refinement. Same outcome, completely different learning velocity. Here's another belief that quietly ruins progress. Premature confidence. Confidence too early is dangerous. Confidence feels good, but early confidence in trading is usually borrowed from a few lucky wins, a good week, someone else's track record, a strategy that hasn't been stress tested. And when that confidence gets challenged by the market, the reaction is almost always emotional. This is why beginners revenge trade, not because they're emotional, but because the market just threatened their identity. I thought I had figured this out. I shouldn't be losing like this. I need to make it back. That mindset doesn't exist in fast learners, because fast learners don't tie self-worth to outcomes. Here's the identity that accelerates learning dramatically. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to collect data. Data collector mindset. When you truly believe that, everything changes. Losses stop feeling heavy. Mistakes stop feeling embarrassing. Feedback stops feeling threatening. And learning speed explodes. From the outside, it looks unfair. One trader spins their wheels for 3 years, another trader competent in 6 months. Same markets, same charts, same risks. The difference isn't talent, it's belief architecture. In the next section, I'm going to show you the exact belief framework fast learning traders operate from, how they think about risk before entries, and why most traders completely misunderstand consistency. This is where things really start to click. Let's talk about the psychology that actually creates consistency. Most traders think consistency comes from discipline. Wake up early, follow rules, don't overtrade, control emotions. That sounds right, but it's backwards. Discipline is not something you force. It's something that emerges. When traders rely on discipline, they're trying to override fear with willpower, and willpower is unreliable under risk. Willpower collapses under pressure. That's why people can be disciplined all day until real money is on the line. Consistency comes from belief alignment. When your beliefs match how the market actually works, discipline becomes automatic. You don't force good behavior. You default to it. Profitable traders operate from a stack of beliefs. Not one mindset trick. A stack. The belief stack. And if even one layer is missing, consistency breaks down. Let's walk through the most important ones. Belief number 1. Risk is a business expense. Fast learning traders don't see losses as failures. They see them as operating costs. Losses equal cost of doing business. Just like rent, just like software, just like commissions, when you truly believe that, risk stops feeling personal. Most traders say this belief but don't actually operate from it. You can tell because they hesitate on valid setups. They move stops emotionally. They size too big when confident and too small when afraid. That's not a strategy problem. That's a belief mismatch. Belief number 2, my job is execution, not outcomes. This belief alone can cut your learning curve in half. Your job as a trader is not to make money today. Your job is to execute your edge cleanly. Execution is more important than outcome. Outcomes are delayed feedback. Execution is controllable behavior. When you focus on outcomes, every trade matters too much. You hesitate, you second guess, you abandon rules mid-trade. Fast learners don't emotionally attach to single trades. They attach to process quality. Belief number 3, fear is information, not an enemy. Most traders try to eliminate fear. That's impossible. You can't eliminate fear. Fear isn't the problem. Misinterpreting fear is. Fear shows up when size is too big, rules are unclear, edge isn't defined, or expectations are unrealistic. Fast learners don't suppress fear. They ask, what is this fear pointing to? Fear gives a signal. When fear becomes a signal instead of a stop sign, you stop fighting yourself. When you stop fighting yourself, execution smooths out. That's when consistency starts to feel effortless. Belief number 4, small size is a weapon. Beginners think small size slows progress. It does the opposite. It does the opposite. Smaller size is faster learning. Smaller size lowers emotional interference, increases repetition, encourages experimentation, and creates clean feedback. Big size doesn't make you serious, it makes you reactive. Your brain shifts from learning mode to survival mode, and survival mode cannot learn complex patterns. Fast learners stay small longer, so they can speed up sooner. Belief number 5, consistency is boring, and that's good. Most traders secretly want excitement. They want action. They want adrenaline. They want stories to tell. The market doesn't reward that. It rewards boring repetition. Boring is profitable. If you associate boredom with stagnation, you'll sabotage consistency without realizing it. Overtrading, forcing setups, breaking rules. Just this once. Fast learners crave boring because boring means controlled. When all these beliefs stack together, something weird happens. Trading stops feeling chaotic, learning stops feeling random, and progress speeds up so much that from the outside it looks unfair. But there's one more layer we need to talk about, the layer almost no one mentions, because if your identity is wrong, no amount of psychology fixes execution. Let's talk about that. If psychology is the engine of trading, identity is the steering wheel. Identity controls your execution. You can have the best strategy, you can understand risk, you can journal perfectly, and still sabotage yourself because your identity isn't aligned with the behavior required to win. This is the part most traders never fix, not because it's complicated, but because it's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. Identity determines how you respond to losses, whether you follow your rules under pressure, whether you quit or adapt. Most beginners adopt the identity of a trader way too early. Identity too early amounts to danger. They say things like, I'm a day trader, this is what I do now, I should be profitable by now. That identity feels motivating, but psychologically it's a trap. When your identity is on the line, every trade matters too much. Losses don't feel like feedback, they feel like a threat. Mistakes don't feel educational, they feel embarrassing. And pressure destroys execution. Fast learners use very different identity. Instead of I'm a trader, they think I'm a student of the market behavior. A student is better than a performer. That one shift moves psychological weight. Students are allowed to be wrong. Students are allowed to experiment. Students are allowed to look stupid without it threatening who they are. Traders who cling to identity too early can't afford to learn properly. Let's talk about ego, because ego is responsible for more blown accounts than bad strategies ever will be. Ego shows up as needing to be right, defending bad trades, ignoring contradictory data, and refusing to simplify. Ego doesn't say I'm wrong, ego says the market was stupid. Ego filters information. It only allows feedback that protects self-image. That means you repeat mistakes, you rationalize losses, you reject lessons you need. Fast learners have weak egos, and that's a strength. You can only choose one. Being right does not mean getting paid. Being right feels good. Getting paid feels boring. The market rewards boring. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself to the chart, execution becomes clean. Here's something strange that happens to a lot of traders. Right before a major breakthrough, they implode, overtrade, increase size, break rules, abandon the plan. This isn't random. Progress threatens identity. If you improve, expectations rise. If expectations rise, pressure increases, and part of your brain would rather stay almost good than risk failing at a higher level. So it sabotages to stay familiar. Fast learners anticipate this phase. They know that discomfort before growth is normal. They reduce size, they tighten rules, they simplify execution, and they slow down. So they reduce size, they tighten rules, simplify execution, and slow down on purpose. They protect the process, not the ego. If you want learning speed that feels unfair, your identity must be built around process, not outcomes. Here's a better identity framework. I'm someone who executes well-defined processes under uncertainty. Process first identity. That identity doesn't panic during drawdowns. It doesn't rush progress. It doesn't need validation. When identity, beliefs, and execution align, everything accelerates. Less emotional drag, cleaner data, faster pattern recognition. From the outside, it looks like talent. From the inside, it feels calm. In the final section, I'm going to tie everything together. I'll show you how to structure your learning so every week compounds, what to focus on right now regardless of experience, and how to know if you're actually progressing, not just busy. This is where speed becomes sustainable. This is how you ethically compress time in trading and know you're actually progressing. At this point, you probably see it. Learning day trading fast doesn't come from secrets. It comes from structure. Speed comes from structure. When people say trading takes years, what they really mean is unstructured learning takes years. Most traders don't lack effort, they lack feedback loops. They spend months trading too many setups, reviewing too emotionally, changing the variables constantly, and never isolating what actually matters. It's not learning, that's noise. If you want learning speed that feels illegal, you need three things working together: focused variables, fast feedback, emotional neutrality. Miss one and progress slows to a crawl. The fastest learners don't trade everything. They trade one market, one session, one setup. That's not limitation, that's precision. Narrow focus will give faster mastery. Every extra variable multiplies confusion. Faster learners reduce complexity until patterns become obvious. Feedback speed determines learning speed. That means reviewing trades daily, tagging mistakes objectively, tracking execution quality, not P&L. Journal with checkboxes and notes. If you wait weeks to review, your brain forgets context. Immediate review creates pattern recognition. This is where psychology ties everything together. You can't learn fast if emotions distort your data. Anger hides mistakes. Fear exaggerates risk. Ego filters feedback. But neutrality lets information stay clean. Here's the mistake most traders make. They measure progress by money. That's unreliable early on. Instead, track rule adherence, entry timing, consistency, stop placement logic, emotional recovery speed. Process metrics are better than P&L. When those improve, profits follow, always. If you want speed, stop doing these things. Stop searching for new strategies. Stop trading to make it back. Stop oversizing to feel progress. Stop consuming content without applying it. Information without execution is procrastination. When learning is structured like this, weeks replace months. Months replace years. From the outside, it looks like talent. From the inside, it feels calm, predictable, almost unfair. Trading isn't hard because it's complex. It's hard because it forces you to confront uncertainty, ego, and delayed gratification. Once your beliefs match that reality, learning accelerates naturally. And if you're watching this thinking, I get it, but I don't want to figure all of this out alone, that's normal. Most traders don't need more motivation. They need structure, feedback, and accountability. That's why I work with traders privately. I don't give signals. I help them build belief systems and processes that actually compound. If that's something you want help with, I'll leave the details below. No pressure, no hype. Just remember this. The market doesn't reward effort, it rewards alignment. Align your beliefs with how trading actually works, and learning speed stops feeling slow. It starts feeling inevitable. Subscribe below, and I'll give you a whole lot more on how to do this.